The Financial Freedom Series about, say, 4 or 5 years ago. I have a series of YouTube videos that help you open up a investment account. When we opened this building, just in June of this year. We were able to get it done, get the kitchen done, get upstairs done, which is our early learning center. It's Polaris Village Early Learning Center. It's 3 and 4 year olds. So what we wanted to do is say, okay, next thing is bring the Financial Freedom Series, to this venue and see people do it live, which is wonderful. So I am very grateful to have all of you. I mean, this turnout, I have to tell you, is amazing. Thank you guys for coming out. Learning about your own personal finances is something they don't teach in school. It's something that we get out there, we learn, and all of a sudden we make mistakes, and then sometimes what happens, these mistakes last 10 years, 15 years, and we still don't know how to get out of things that happened 15 years ago. And we keep digging a hole and digging a hole and digging a financial hole. Generally, we don't have problems making money. Everybody usually started working when they're 16, 17, 18. But we have problems with retaining money and creating wealth. Okay? And that's where I wanted to say, I want to start from the beginning. And this episode 1 is the balance sheet. I want to do a quick introduction of who I am and the things that I do, so that you guys have a clue that I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. So, over here, my name is Derek Daly. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, and philanthropist. I have about 7 for-profit companies and about 3 non-profit entities that I've either am involved in or helped found. So my for-profit companies are Jack Resources, Jack Innovations, Jack Holdings, and you're saying, what's Jack mean? Because I got all the Jacks and Caps, so that's an acronym for something. It's Jacob, Alonzo, Chinadu, and Kendrick. So that's Jack. Jack started as a company. The first company was Jack Innovations. I started Jack Innovations, and that's how we went into Jack Resources, Jack Holdings. Jack Holdings is nothing but a holding company for real estate. And then Inspo Productions. Inspo Productions is cameras that we have here, the production of this seminar series that we're going to be putting out there. So that you're going to be on camera and tape on YouTube and all that. And then Naima Ventures. If you go down the street, you'll see on Clay Street the buildings that are going up. And there's one that's pretty much getting to completion, and then one that's in the process of the first floor, and that's Naima Ventures. And that's basically Kendrick and my son. They're doing a $15 million project down there. And then Aspire Outdoors is another land holding. I got about 65 acres of land that Aspire Outdoors owns. And then Aspire Daily. And I want to just talk a little bit about Aspire Daily. This Aspire Daily Inc. is my baby, because it is a straight corporation, okay? And I did it myself, which was amazing. Thank God for the education that God gave me. So we were able to establish Aspire Daily Inc. as a partner with Aspire Outdoors. Okay, we created 200 million shares of Aspire Daily Inc. Okay, we registered with the state of Maryland. We registered with the SEC. Okay, without a lawyer, and we're able to issue 137 million shares of Aspire Daily Inc. Aspire Daily Inc. right now is selling at $1 a share. So it gives you an idea of how that company has grown, and it's going to grow. So we're in a process of Aspire Daily Inc. is its main mission is to provide high-class housing to communities. And also, just to tell you that Aspire Daily Inc. owns 10% of Naima Ventures. So it also goes into the mid to lower levels of providing housing. So that's to tell you, and again, Jack Construction, as you can see here, is a part of Jack Resources. It's a DBA, and again, I'm telling you all this so you say, hey, you know, when this guy says something, he has a clue, and that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to. I know everybody says, oh, well, you know, you're saying a lot and you're telling a lot, but if I don't say it, you don't know. So I want to share it. That's my goal in doing all this, is sharing knowledge. And into the seminar itself, that's enough about me. I'm going to start with your balance sheet. Personal balance sheet is saying to yourself, okay, what's my cash? How much cash do I have in the bank? What are my assets? Okay, do I own anything? Okay, fixed assets, a home, fixed assets could be, you know, securities. Securities are, okay, stocks, bonds, assets like that. They're other assets. Okay, and then as you drill down, okay, to the other side of the balance sheet, which is the liability section and then the equity section. I'll get a little bit more involved in that. The liabilities and credit cards, mortgage loans, things like that. And that's how you gotta look at it from your personal side. And then it's your assets minus your liabilities plus equals your equity. As I said, I'll get it in more involved in that. But you gotta ask yourself, why is it important? You know, why is it important to understand that? It's important because it's the driver of your household, especially your household finance. Never mind, how many of you are married? It's the driver of 90% of your arguments. Am I right? Money is money and money management and who spends what and the tracking of funds, especially if you have two people in the household, one making more than the other or making the same. If you know how to manage that money, you can then take that and be able to grow. What happens is a lot of people in their balance sheet have two separate balance sheets inside of one household. I make my money, I keep my money, I put my money into the what? General pot. And then I help, then we pay bills with that, but I keep my money and you keep your money. So you might have one person in that family household that wants to grow, then you have another person in that family household that wants to create the liabilities. That's the credit card, that's the spending, that's the this and that. And then at the end, what happens? You have no equity. So that's why understanding your balance sheet for you and your wife, you yourself, it's important because it allows you to get visibility, okay, of your finances. Let me say that again. It allows you to get visibility of your finances. Okay. So, this is what I was saying. Assets. So assets, okay, that's the plus side. That's a positive. Okay, cash, house, car. Okay, as much as a car could be a liability, a car is an asset. You can actually, you have a car, you pay it down a little, you can actually go back to the bank and get another loan on your car if it has any equity in it. So it is an asset. It's a fast-moving asset because it depreciates quickly. And I'll get into the depreciation of that because that's a part of the asset. But that's for another seminar and episode down the road. Again, liabilities. Mortgage loans, credit cards, personal loans. Okay. I want to focus a little bit on this side here because this is really the killer for a lot of things. Go ahead, Sam.
You don't count living expenses as liability, do you?
No. That's for episode 2, profit and loss.
So what counts as a liability?
Liability liability is your mortgage. Liability is your credit card. Liability is your personal loans. Liabilities, short-term liabilities could be, if you really want to drill down and get really into, like I said, your finances, could be something like your utility bill that you have put in as a liability in the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month you pay it. So at the beginning of the month it's a liability, at the end of the month you pay it, and that's what we call a current liability. So it comes on, goes off, comes on, goes off, goes on. But I'm not gonna, from a accounting, straight accounting, that's what you might do. But from a personal balance sheet, okay, I don't recommend putting it in that liability category. We're going to do an exercise, just to mention that. Okay, and then this is the big piece right here. Okay, the equity. Okay, and that's where people fall down because that is your net worth, your financial net worth. Okay, and a lot of folks, unfortunately, have more liability than assets. So guess what? What does that do? That gives them a negative. So they have no equity. And having no equity means you pretty much are going to rely on Social Security. You're not going to have anything when you get to that age to rely on, okay, as the income that you have generating at the time stops, okay. So again, does everybody understand what I'm saying here? Everybody understand what I'm saying? So assets, could be home, securities, stocks, bonds, and that. Life insurance policy. If you have a good life insurance policy, it could be an asset. Okay, I don't want to get too deep in it, but that's another asset. Okay, anything that you can actually sell, in a sense, and get something back for it. Okay, is that asset. All right. Let me go back to liabilities. Liabilities, the worst liabilities that you can have is a credit card. Because you're probably paying between 20 and 30%, 29% or whatever. Unless you got really good, unless you got a 780 credit rating, you're probably getting a 16%. And 16%, I tell you right now, as an investor, it's hard for me to get a 16%, 20% return every year on my investment. So that means that if I went ahead and I bought some stocks, an ETF or something like that, okay, and I get an 8% return, but I have a credit card that's I'm paying 20, 25%, I'm in the negative. Okay? And then on top of that, please, who pays the minimum on a credit card? Raise your hand. Don't pay the minimum on a credit card. Because a credit card is the worst. They do that on purpose. There's actually been government regulations to minimize companies from doing that. And there's actually a guaranteed minimum that you have to pay now for your credit card so that you don't keep going into what we call perpetual debt. Because it goes on and on and on and on. What happens is you pay your credit card, okay, you pay $50. If you really look at it, and I know that's why this series, this Financial Freedom series, is to pull the scab off of all the pain that we've had. You're in this room. I know you're serious about changing your financial behavior patterns.